Hey yogis, welcome to a special vlog. Why is it special? It's my detox vlog. Today's officially day 9. Medical disclaimer, I am not a medical doctor. All changes and behavior modifications pertaining to your health should be first discussed with your GP before embarking on them. Having said that, welcome to my 40-day detox vlog. I've been teasing you for a little while, about this vlog. And I want to get into it today to tell you how it is that I lost 25 pounds and have managed to keep it off. But first, let's take a deep dive into the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why of it all. So for those of you that are new to me and this channel, well, I'm Lisa, and online I'm also known as the AlkaliYogi. I am a wife, a daughter, a sister, cousin, friend, economist, performer. Oh yes, she does sing. Public speaker, health coach, and yoga teacher. And if it's not obvious to you, I'm a woman. Did that need to be said? The what? A detox with no food. When? In the spring and summer of 2023. This is being recorded in January 2024. The where? I chose to be at home, so I made it a point to not travel during this time. I wanted to be grounded for this process and present. The why? To reverse disease, symptoms that I had in the body that I believe are quite common. And in order for me to be able to help you all, I had to really help myself first. So I also believe, as a student of nature, as an ally of Mother Earth, that the body is designed to heal itself. It's miraculous, and I do think that if we support it, it will do just that. It will heal itself. So what were the symptoms that I was tackling? Psoriasis, a swollen thyroid, fibroids, poor digestion. And I wanted to be able to provide an alternative and permanent way for restoring health to the body that didn't include taking medication for a lifetime. Also, it's been my observation that many animals will abstain from food when they are ill. So to me, they are the greatest example to a life that is natural. So I chose to mimic their behavior, and that's why I chose to do a no food detox. The other alternative would have been perhaps surgery, or as I just mentioned to you earlier, taking medication potentially for the rest of my life, but it was not optimal for me. Medications come with side effects, and they can sometimes lead to worse health than even the original offense. Not to mention they add toxic load to the body. So if being on a lifetime of medication is not for you either, then I would ask you to perhaps consider partnering with a holistic practitioner, one who's licensed, of course, and doesn't just read, study, and speak about reversing disease naturally, but is practicing it. That is why I'm doing it. so that I can give testimony. I want to be able to say that I walked the walk with you all. So the how. Well, I began with a 14-day fresh juice, organic juice, of course, detox, and I also had the master cleanse there on the side just in case I needed it. Everything was prepared at home, and as I mentioned, everything was, of course, well sourced, including natural spring water. On day 15, I switched over to structured water only, and the water, which was alkaline in spring, of course, was structured with organic lemon juice and lime. It is day 12. I'm well into the double digits now. Well, I don't know about well into, but I'm into the double digits of this detox and cleanse, and experiencing some things, folks. I have to be honest, yeah? So, what was I experiencing? I was not sleeping well. Truth be told, life was lifing, detox or not, and so I had things on my mind. Energy levels, however, were good overall, and that's primarily due to the fact that I was still consuming fruit juice during the first 14 days, and so obviously the glucose, the sugar gave me the energy that I needed to be able to push through. And I was saving energy because I was not digesting and processing foods. Anxiety. Anxiety became almost non-existent. Truthfully, I was humming at a very low 1 to 2 out of 10. As someone that experiences anxiety from time to time, and it has been overwhelming in the past, but much better since changing my lifestyle. I found that at that point during my detox, it was at its best, meaning that it was almost non-existent. I almost couldn't muster up any anxiety, which was lovely, to say the least. The swelling of the thyroid right away reduced by about 50%. So early on, I saw huge gains here. Noticeable weight loss also happening during the initial 14 days. And I was experiencing bowel movements early on, and then naturally they tapered as there was not anything to expunge after a certain point, eliminate, if you will. I shouldn't say eliminate, I'll say there wasn't any removal. There's probably always stuff that can be eliminated. I was also experiencing residue matter coming out of my eye ducts. So again, more rubbish just sort of leaving the body, more toxicity being expunged from the body. And I noticed that I had a white tongue, like a film mat, like a thick, clingy, like thick matter that had developed over my tongue. And that was an indication of candida overgrowth. Then I switched to structured water only on day 15, and that changed everything. Each time you make a drastic change, whether it be to your lifestyle, to nutrition, to sleep, movement, etc., you're changing the microbiome of the gut, and that in turn has a great impact on you and your overall well-being. In the words of Hippocrates, all disease begins in the gut. The first 72 hours of me doing water only and no fruit juice were extremely rough. I mean, rough. In fact, on day 3, I think it was, I had of water only, I ended up having to consume a glass of OJ because I was really hurting. Actually, it was before day 3. I think it was actually on day 1 of just doing water only that I found at one point I just needed to have a glass of OJ just to help regulate myself again, my blood sugar levels. I experienced chills. I was weak. My head was hurting. I was shaking a bit. But I kept a close eye on this, so did the hubby. And, I was prepared to break, but ended up being able to push through in the end. Okay, yogis, here we are. It is Saturday evening. It's 9 o'clock. I'm completely winded because I went downstairs to retrieve my blue blockers so that I could quickly come online and speak to you all for a minute, give you an update. It's 9 p.m. on Saturday. I'm about to read my book, which is really great. I've been really enjoying this. I've not come on, I think in 3 or 4 days, maybe 5, I'm not even sure. And it was actually hubby who asked me, had I vlogged recently? And I said no, because I have been, like even now, I'm just trying to just catch my breath. Like going up and down the stairs completely takes the wind out of me. Okay. So I'm on day 4 of just H2O, just water. And I'm on day 1 of my period. It has been so challenging. I have been experiencing an elevated heart rate for several days now since going on this. It is exponentially harder, more challenging. I have not been able to do yoga. I've barely mustered up enough energy to teach yoga. So I've not practiced since Wednesday being day 1 of this, of the water fast. Hey, I'm back. So I don't think I've been on since Saturday evening, where I was not in a great space, I'm not going to lie. Today's Tuesday. It's officially day 7. I actually believe that I made it more difficult for myself by having done the 14-day juice cleanse portion of it. Although I'd come up with my own guidelines for how I wanted to navigate this detox, I had also been encouraged by this documentary that I viewed called Facing the Fat, 55 Days Without Food. The documentary followed a man who embarked on a medically supervised 55-day fast, as you saw. He was advised to begin with a juice fast for the first 2 weeks. And so, if I'm being honest with you, those first 2 weeks, I actually saw the psoriasis worsen. The psoriasis is still raw AF. The line is receding back, the psoriasis line itself, but it's like raw AF there, so that's not cute. But it is going back, like you can see it's going back. So and that's because I'm not having any fruit juice and I like to feed it, right? Because candida feeds skin issues like rashes, dandruff, psoriasis, etc., etc. After I spoke to my mentor, Carl, who happens to be a Czech master with the Czech Institute and a faculty member at the Czech Institute. By the way, the Czech Academy is the school in which I'm enrolled in, and the Institute is who I am licensed by as a holistic health practitioner. After speaking to him, he reminded me of this. And then secondly, I have been abstaining from food now for 3 weeks. I did 2 weeks of just fruit juice, and now I'm day 8 of just water. And I was planning to go at least another week until the end of the month. Are you okay with that, or?
Yeah, I will tell you, the fruit juice has probably not done you any favors.
100%. And I noticed that because my tongue went all white, it was insane. I could see the candida.
Yeah, I was going to say your candida and bacteria is probably worse than what it was when you did this test.
It actually made the psoriasis worse.
Well,
during
it
those
is.
14 days. Yeah. But
I
being
mean,
on
it
the
sounds
water
terrible.
detox,
I
sorry, go
love
ahead.
that you've just said that. Like, I love to. I want to do an Instagram live with you after this.
Okay.
If you would love to, if you would, I'd
Sure.
love to get you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
online because you are in the health industry and you're a professional, and that you've just done this cleanse and you've had probably the complete opposite to what you thought. You had the reactions were not as you thought you would get.
Because when you go on a water fast, medically, they recommend that you do a 14-day juice fast leading up to it. But my symptoms, everything got far worse. And it's only now on day 8 of just being on water that I'm seeing the candida recede. I'm seeing the psoriasis improve slightly. So no, you're absolutely right. The fruit did me no benefit whatsoever. But that's
Mm.
what they recommend medically, is that you can't just go from eating solids to just going on water alone.
Who's they?
The documentaries on the YouTube.
Let me ask you, are those they? Would they be considered the vegetarian or vegan type people? Do you know?
I don't know. They were just documentaries of people who ate the standard American diet, who wanted to go on a water detox, on a water fast to see what they could reverse and to lose weight. And I'm not doing this to lose weight, of course. I'm
Mm.
doing it because my goal was to repair my gut and to give it some time to just heal, right? Because I know a lot of these issues are from a gut that's been compromised.
Yeah, my issue, like, I would love to get on and talk to them, they, those people, because, like, in your case, people are like, I've got gut things, what can I do? Or maybe I could try a cleanse. I'm like, cleanses are great, but let's not just try and attack something we have no idea what it is. And now here's the thing, go and do a fruit juice cleanse. Well, hold on. If you've got candida, if you've got bacteria, and you've got H. pylori, and you go on a fruit juice cleanse, if you do that for 14 days, you've just fed that for the rest of the year. Like, you're giving it everything it wants. And the reason why they're doing it is because you are saturating your cells in sugars and carbohydrates, so you have the energy to get through a water cleanse. That's the only reason that they recommend that you do a juice cleanse prior to a water cleanse.
Okay.
I've done 3 to 5 day water cleanse, and one of my friends has just done a 21-day water cleanse coming off of the carnivore diet.
Oh, okay. Cold
And
turkey.
straight up carnivore for a month and then bang straight into a 21-day water cleanse.
Okay.
So yeah, I know that a certain group of people definitely recommend that because it saturates the cells with glucose, and it just gives you the energy to get through generally the first couple of days of a water cleanse. But in your case, it's gonna make everything 10 times worse.
Hey yogis. So today is Saturday on the bank holiday weekend in the US. Not to be confused with the bank holiday in the Commonwealth, which was last weekend, Victoria Day. So where am I at? I wanted to report in. It's the 27th, so I'm on day 26 of no food and day 11 of just a water fast. And let me tell you, the real magic, I believe, started to happen around day 10 for me. Obviously, it's going to be very, very different for everyone. But for me, day 10 is where I started to see some massive gains. So during the water-only portion of the detox, I met up with my mentor again to discuss the results now from the GI map and the protocol that I would be taking to heal my gut. The detox itself I knew was going to be really impactful, but sometimes there are things, infections, etc. in the gut that require more than just abstaining from food. And so we met to discuss the protocol. I had provided a stool sample before I began the actual detox. And though I won't get into the specifics of the results of the GI map itself, I wish to highlight one major piece, because this one piece of the puzzle, made everything else sort of evident, and it made me understand and understand why I was having some of the symptoms that I was having, including poor digestion. And that missing puzzle, ladies and gentlemen, was the H. pylori. Oh yes, the H. pylori came back quite positive. So according to the Mayo Clinic, H. pylori, also known as Helicobacter pylori, is an infection that occurs when H. pylori bacteria infects your stomach. This usually happens during childhood, a common cause of stomach ulcers. Infection may be present in more than half the people in the world. Most people don't realize that they have H. pylori infection because they never get sick from it. If you develop signs and symptoms of a peptic ulcer, your healthcare provider will probably test you for H. pylori infection. A peptic ulcer is a sore on the lining of the stomach or on the first part of the small intestine. So symptoms: most people with H. pylori infection will never have any signs or symptoms. It's not clear why many people don't have symptoms, but some people may be born with more resistance to the harmful effects. When signs or symptoms do occur of H. pylori infection, they are typically related to gastritis or a peptic ulcer and may include an ache or burning pain in your stomach, abdomen, stomach pain that may be worse when your stomach is empty, nausea, loss of appetite, frequent burping, bloating, and unintentional weight loss. So that's, in a nutshell, what H. pylori is about. My mentor, Carl, is also a functional diagnostic nutritional practitioner, an FDN, and so he was actually able to order lab tests for me. Once the lab work came back, he then paired with a medical doctor to go over the results, and together they came up with a protocol for me, which I believe is a much better alternative, for me anyways, than going on antibiotics, which is oftentimes how the Western world will treat H. pylori. But the thing is, antibiotics can have grave consequences. There is a time and a benefit for sure for antibiotics, but in my case, I was able to deduct that taking antibiotics would actually cause more harm than good because my gut had already been compromised. I also began to suspect that the H. pylori may be contributing to an environment that was supporting the psoriasis. My mentor, Carl, said to me, so this is his metaphor for how to explain H. pylori in very simple terms. It's kind of like that annoying friend that you invite over, let's say, and then that friend goes to a public forum to advertise that you're now having a house party. You've invited this person over. They've now gone ahead and invited everyone and their dog to come over to your home. So basically it opens up the gates, if you will, to a whole host of things. And that was the thinking that kind of led me to think, I wonder if the H. pylori is contributing to the psoriasis. So I ended up doing a quick search, and I want to just share a little bit about that with you. And here I'm just going to go right into the conclusion portion of it. Again, this is from the National Library of Medicine once more, and I'm going to go right to the bottom, to the conclusion, because I don't want to bore those of you that are not interested in this portion, but I just want to show you how H. pylori can be supportive of a whole host of things. So in conclusion, current evidence indicates that H. pylori infection is associated with psoriasis, and psoriasis patients with H. pylori infection may have higher psoriasis area and severity index, a PASI score. Future studies should focalize not only on H. pylori infection, but also on the role of gut microbiota plus Helicobacter in the pathogenesis of psoriasis. Curious to how I may have contracted this gross amount of H. pylori? Gross by like really large amount. Well, my time in Africa. Well, hello. Hello. It's June. I don't even know if I've checked in with you all since May, actually, because it's been busy. It's been trying. I'm still going. Today we are 1 week into June, and I'm still going. Perhaps you can tell that I'm now officially skin and bones. And everything that I've lost thus far in terms of the weight has been just toxicity, so I'm not worried about the weight loss because it was all stuff that needed to go anyway. Fat cells, cells that had been storing up toxicity, which now my body is just removing and expunging because it hasn't had to process and digest anything new coming into the body. Hey yogis, quick update. It is Wednesday, the 6th of June. Don't ask me how many days I've been on this detox, but I'm guessing 35 or so. Okay, so here we are, final stretch. I'm finally in the last week of this detox. Here's what I'm noticing. The remaining fibroids are much, much smaller. And from what I could tell, 3 were actually no longer there. In fact, I did pass a lot of tissue during this time. My energy has been low, and that has to do with poor sleep. After all, sleep and food are your fuel, and so if you're not getting either of those, then it's not surprising that energy levels could be low. If you are wondering how important sleep is, by the way, when working with a Czech practitioner like myself, it is the number one most important thing that you need for your healing journey. But I'm going to allow my mentor, Paul Chek, to tell you more about that.
Sleep's a miracle. If people had any idea how powerful sleep is for healing from anything, and the fact that it's free, they would be in shock. If we were to test sleep against medical drugs and even against parasite herbs, you can throw parasite herbs at someone and drugs at them until the cows come home, but if they're sleep deprived, their immune system will never ever reach its potential. They will crave sugar, they will crave coffee, and it'll be a dog chasing its tail, and this is an expensive dog and an expensive tail that can really detract from the quality of your life.
Hey guys, so long time no see, and perhaps you can see why I've not been on camera. I have been experiencing for the last 2 weeks an extremely severe flare-up, psoriasis flare-up that I've never ever had. Throughout my entire face, eyelids, upper lip, lips, under the eyes, all over my forehead. This has truly been unprecedented. My cheeks, everything is tight, it's burning, it's uncomfortable. Behind my ears, both sides. It's been really, really uncomfortable, really, really shocking. As you know, I fasted for 40 days, resumed eating, and then resumed another fast for about 14 days, if I remember correctly, where I believed I was making great headway, and certainly the psoriasis that had come down to about here had all receded and gone back. But this is something completely different on a whole other level. You can see my skin is tight. That's what all of that is tightness, all this discoloration. It burns, it's itchy, it's peeling. I don't know what to tell you. Today's the 21st of August. It started about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm on a protocol now, thanks to a naturopath and my Czech mentor, who's a level 5. He's a Czech master, and he's on the faculty at the Czech Institute. As you all know, I'm enrolled at the Czech Institute, so at the academy there. We're working on it. This is where I'm at, 2 weeks. And yeah, you know, we'll continue to monitor the situation and keep you abreast of what improvements and headway I make. I just wanted to hop on and give you guys a quick little update, and that's all. It's now January 2024. Want to know how I'm doing? I'm doing great. I really am. I'm still on the protocol and the nutritional plan that I was placed on to heal my gut, because it took a long time for my gut to get where it got to, and so I know it's going to take some time. I've maintained my new shape and this new weight. In fact, of the 25 pounds that I lost during the detox, I've put on less than 4. So just 3 and a bit more pounds I've put on since that time. I'll get into how and why that is a little bit later. The psoriasis is 90% better, literally. The flare-ups are no longer as frequent. They don't fully realize themselves. They're much, much milder, like 10% of a flare-up as opposed to before. So like I said, 90% better, literally. And they're less and less frequent. So I know that it's getting better. I also know that I have lived with psoriasis for years. And so it took years to get into a situation where psoriasis formed in the body, so it's going to take some time. And with that, I'm going to be very overstanding, understanding, very compassionate towards my gut and my body. Let's see. Thyroid is still swollen, but much smaller. And again, because I overstand and understand that everything is tied to gut health, I know that as I continue to heal my gut, I will continue to see improvement there as well. Vision, much better, sharper, again, because vision also, again, tied to dun, 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 gut health. Hippocrates said it himself. My gums, no longer inflamed. So again, another massive gain there. With regards to how I have been able to maintain this weight, again, I have to say, or perhaps this is the first time I'm mentioning this, I did not embark on this because, oh, wait a minute. Whoa. Rewind, guys. Before I get into the weight and how I've been able to maintain it, the fibroids. I have half as many fibroids. So again, massive, massive success here. So grateful for it. The ones that are left are literally a fraction of the size that they were. I was palpating every morning throughout the detox. I continue to palpate in the mornings now too. So I'm able to sort of keep an eye on them and see how they're doing. When I see them growing a little bit, then I know that it's time to do another 1, 2, potentially 3 day detox where I again abstain from food. I normally pair it up with my periods, to be honest. So although I resumed eating technically 5-6 months ago, I have now incorporated doing 1 to 3 day versions of the same detox when I see that the fibroids grow again. And if you're curious as to why they sometimes grow, it can be anything from stress to pregnancy. So I will also just add this. Right after I came off of the 40 days, immediately within a few weeks, I fell pregnant, which was a huge blessing. Although we were not trying, because I was still detoxifying at that time. it was exactly what we had wanted. And so the husband and I were very, very grateful. I had back-to-back pregnancies that were both unfortunately not successful. I am choosing to share this with you all, which is very sensitive for me to share, only because we had been trying prior to the detox. It had been successful one time, and then there was a miscarriage. And then for a period of months, I wasn't able to fall pregnant again. So without even trying, right after coming off of this detox and being on the protocol, we fell pregnant. Unfortunately, it was not successful. Fell pregnant the following month, again, unsuccessful. And so, we're taking time to just kind of reassess and again, give the body the time and the space that it needs to get to where it needs to. So I'm sharing this because for those of you who are having a strong desire to conceive and have been challenged to consider, again, with your GP, natural ways of supporting natural conception. So I will leave you with that. How have I been able to maintain this weight loss and this new shape and size of mine? Well, I've completely changed the way I snack. Well, fam, you asked. And so naturally we had to answer. What are some things that you can snack on to help maintain your health goals for this year? Maybe even your paleo lifestyle. How about some sprouted organic almonds? Or perhaps walnuts? There's always seeds, sunflower seeds with a spot of sea salt, or perhaps you prefer pumpkin seeds. How about fruit? Have we forgotten about fruit? Raw organic cashews? Maybe something a little tropical to take us to the islands, an organic papaya? Or maybe you want something a little bit crunchy. How about some organic plantains with coconut oil and Himalayan pink salt? An apple a day, well, you already know what they say. An avocado is always a good idea. And so are blueberries. And of course, if you need, break seal in case of emergency. Enjoy. So in addition to changing the way I snack, I changed the way that I eat. I'm pretty much making everything from scratch. Hashtag true story, hashtag facts only. So even though I was eating really, really well as a Trek practitioner, now I've started to make my own bread and condiments, pastries, all of the stuff that I used to buy before from the shops, which were still organic, had to some degree emulsifiers and stabilizers, which I know were adding toxic load to the body. The body doesn't recognize these as foods because they are in fact not foods. And so toxic load, again, compromises gut health. So I've had to really change the way that I approach nutrition now by making, like I mentioned to you all, far more foods from scratch than I was doing before. Vegan cheeses I no longer buy. I make vegan cheeses at home. Hummus, store-bought hummus, organic, I no longer buy. I make it at home. Just to give you an example of the undertaking and what it means when you're really going and embarking on a path of gut healing in order to heal yourself overall. It's beautiful because I have more of a connection with my food now, and I know definitively what's on my plate. Even if I'm looking at vegan cheeses, whatever I'm looking at, I know what's on my plate. Everything I've made myself with my own two hands. And then I can give gratitude from a knowing place of what it is that's coming in. I can thank every ingredient on my plate and for the fact that it's about to become a cell of mine. It will become part of my bone mass. It will become part of my connective tissue, and it will give me its life force. I can now acknowledge it accordingly and give thanks to that. So it's been a really wonderful and profound time. I highly encourage you all to embark on it. I have some great recipes. If you're even thinking about working or pairing with a holistic practitioner of any sort, make sure that they are practicing something similar, because you want to get the gunk out. It doesn't matter if it's plant-based, vegan, it doesn't matter if it's, paleo necessarily. You want to be able to make as much food at home as possible. Not everything do I make from scratch, of course not, but I make a great deal more now than I did before, and it's making all the difference. I'm seeing it because I'm eating and I'm not putting on that weight again, because a lot of that weight that I lost was just fat cells holding on to toxicity. That's all it was. Stuff that it didn't process, that it couldn't process, that now has finally had the time and the ability to eliminate and remove. So this is me letting you guys know that I am available for consulting, for coaching. I'm here to help you get on your way if this is something that you are considering. You know how to contact me. It's here on the screen, AlkaliYogi.com. I've tweaked a lot of things now in my life. In fact, I can even tell you that post 40-day detox, I've now learned of bevies and foods that you can consume that would actually keep you in a fasted state. Things that I didn't know, so I can help make your journey, if you're considering something like this, much, much easier. You can actually consume a couple of things and not come out of ketosis or a fasted state. I wish I'd known this earlier, but now I know. And so now I'm able to actually implement that during my 1 to 3 day fasts, which for me will probably be a lifestyle going forward, because I think it will support my health overall. As a holistic practitioner, I now have wholesale accounts with the supplement manufacturers that I used and continue to use. And I've also partnered up with my mentor, Carl. So in other words, I can order labs for you and supplements for you at a discounted rate. We test so that we don't have to guess. That's why we get lab work. When we know what we're working with, in my case, H. pylori, we know what we need in order to treat the infection. So now we're at the part where you can support me. How? By liking this video, by subscribing to the channel and adding the notifications, ding, and by sharing and leaving a comment. Please leave a comment. It helps the algorithm. And also for me, I'd like to know how you're doing. If you've done something like this before, what your results have been, etc., etc. More times than not, I will respond to the comments, because this is a community after all, and we can all help each other get to our health goals for this year and beyond. And on that note, I'm going to sign off. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Make sure you get free and stay free. Until next time. Bye. On the day that I'm about to resume eating, I weigh 106.8. So in essence, I've shed about 25 pounds.